Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Bhagavad-gita as it is, translation and commentary. His Divine Grace, please sing Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Yatha dipo nivatastho Ningate sopamasmita Yogino yatta chittasya Yungato yogamatmaha. This is one of many examples that Lord Krishna uses in Bhagavad-gita to demonstrate various points. Here, the mind, the controlled mind, is compared to a lamp in a windless place. In this chapter in particular, there is much discussion of control of the mind. This Dhyana yoga is centered around the mind. How to control the mind. Because the uncontrolled mind is the cause of material bondage. And actually the uncontrolled mind is the cause of unlimited suffering. Whereas if the mind is controlled, that in itself means liberation. So the yogis who are very much concerned with liberation, they attempt to control the mind. Now, the Krishna conscious system of Bhakti Yoga is similar, but the difference is also. Krishna consciousness means consciousness of Krishna. So, it's also concerned with the mind. But the emphasis is on Krishna rather than on the mind. In other words, instead of mechanically trying to control the mind, one instead thinks of how to satisfy Krishna. However, within Vaishnava literature there is still a lot of discussion of how the mind must be fixed on Krishna. It is not a mindless process, it is a mindful process. Mindless means without any discrimination or any proper thought. Yeah, I know, that's why I'm explaining. Mindless means without discrimination, without any proper thought. Which means sentimentalism or fanaticism. Which means sentimentalism or fanaticism. And mindful means conscientiousness. Conscientiousness means always being aware of what we are doing and how we are doing and doing it to the best of our ability. Where's your mind? Where is the mind now? We can be sitting in Naberezhnye Chelny, but our mind can be in anywhere. Our mind can be in California or in hell. Not that much difference between California and hell, except that it's painted as heaven. Our mind can be in Vrindavan. On the other hand, we can physically take the body to Vrindavan. Who has been to Vrindavan? How do you go to Vrindavan? Well, you get a plane, you get a visa, and you go to India, and then from the airport you somehow or other by road or by land transport you go to Vrindavan. It's not far from there. You go to Vrindavan the same way you go to Delhi or Los Angeles or Moscow or whatever. So the whole aim of our attempts at Bhakti Yoga are to go to Vrindavan. So why are we chanting Hare Krishna and following all these rules and regulations? When all you need is a plane ticket and a visa and a little more money to get from Delhi to Vrindavan. Because you can be in Vrindavan by the body, but the mind may stay in Russia. There's an old song, I left my heart in San Francisco. So you may go from San Francisco to Vrindavan, but the heart is still in San Francisco. So, Krishna consciousness means to place the mind at the lotus feet of Krishna. And that is actually going to Vrindavan. And actually going to Vrindavan means going with the intention to serve Krishna with no other desire. And this is what's being spoken of in this verse. No other desire. And that's the only way we can be in Krishna consciousness. That is actual Krishna consciousness. As long as we have other desires, then our mind is flickering. And the example is given here of the still flame compared to the flickering flame. It's a very nice example that if a candle is burning and there's no wind, then it will simply burn very smoothly and nicely without flickering. There's another example of the still mind given in Bhagavad-gita. Apurimānamacala pratishta samudrama paparishanti yadva tattat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti na kamakani. The example of a person who attains peace is compared to the ocean. The ocean is very deep. So a person whose consciousness is very deep is compared to the ocean. But even though so many mighty rivers flow into the ocean is not affected by that. Although sometimes on the surface the ocean may appear to be choppy, but underneath it is calm, it is still, because it is very deep. So the example of a candle burning steadily is a good example for us to remember. In yoga meditation, there is one system of sitting in a dark room, staring at a candle, trataka. This trataka helps to still the mind, because the steadily burning flame is a symbol of peacefulness. Now, the example of the flame gives the idea that there's no wind from outside that's disturbing it. Now, we may say that, well, in this material world there are always so many disturbances, just like that example of the ocean. There are great rivers of tremendous force flowing into the ocean. So that might be, but still the ocean remains calm. So you might think that this example is more applicable. But we can understand that although in this example of the lamp burning, that although the wind may be blowing outside, the lamp is in a protected place. So in the same way, a devotee living in this world cannot avoid the turbulence of this material world. The yogis attempt to avoid the turbulence of this world by going to the forest or mountains. But this example, the devotee, even though outside the room there may be wind, but the candle is in a covered place. So in the same way, a devotee lives in this raging material world, but his heart is not disturbed. His heart is steadily fixed on Krishna. So here the example is given of a lamp in a windless place that does not flicker. But a lamp in a windless place, it may also flicker. How could that be? What would cause it to flicker? Splutter, you could say. Some suggestion?
Due to draft.
Well, then draft means that there's a disturbance from outside. But then that's not the example.
Inside the room somebody is moving.
Again, it's that stone.
Or somebody is moving the candle. The candle is moving.
If there's impurity in the fuel, or if there's water, then it splutters.
In the what?
In the fuel, the oil, if there's water mixed with the oil.
Yeah.
Right? So if the oil is completely pure, then the flame will burn very nicely. But if not, then it will splatter. That's why even if we remove ourselves from all disturbances, but our heart is not pure, then our consciousness will not be fixed. Here Krishna is giving an example to demonstrate steadiness. Steadiness is required in devotional service. We see many people take to Krishna consciousness, but after some time, they become unsteady. Sometimes you see a candle's flame, it splutters and then goes out.
It extinguishes.
Yeah, becomes extinguished. Or sometimes it splutters and then recovers and again burns nicely. So, almost all devotees go through some stage of unsteadiness. So it's a dangerous condition for our spiritual life. After spluttering, will we again become steady or will we become extinguished? It is not good to be unsteady. Unsteady means that the mind is not fixed on Krishna. We have so many other desires. Of course, having come in this material world, we do have so many desires. Hoya Maya Das Kari Nana Abhilash. When we become the servant of Maya, then we have so many desires. We should know this is not good, it is not auspicious. It is the cause of bondage in this material world. It is the cause of our perpetual suffering in this material world. It is the cause of our remaining separated from Krishna. So attaining steadiness in Krishna consciousness is essential. Now we see that many devotees are somewhat mentally or psychologically unstable. Not to the extent, I'm not talking about the extent of being insane, but just not fixed in what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. Their ideas change from one day to the next. They cannot remain steady in any service. And this unsteadiness indicates the strong material desires. Because service to Krishna is available in various circumstances. So if we are often changing our service or our position of service, and then it suggests that we're in the materially influenced consciousness, by which we think it will be better in this situation, it will be better in another situation than the one I'm presently in. Whatever situation we are in, there are some favorable points and unfavorable points. But due to the nature of the mind, we tend to find the disturbing points very disturbing. And we think I should go to another situation where this problem does not exist to the same extent. So we make a massive change in our life. We give up service in one place. We go somewhere else. And for some time it may be more pleasing to our mind. But then after some time we find something else which is disturbing in that situation, and that begins to bother us so much. And we start to think, well, this is intolerable, I can't stay here. And thus it goes on and on and on. This is the story of many brahmacharis. Householders don't have so much opportunity to change their situation so often. Of course they may do. They may think, this wife's no good, I should get another one. And that is right. But generally the responsibility of family life, if one accepts that, as every person should, that helps to make one stable. If one can be stable in brahmachari life, then there's no need to enter grihastha life. Stable in brahmachari life doesn't necessarily mean doing the same thing all the time, or even staying in the same place all the time. But it means to be fixed in service. Everyone should consider that this service given to me is a God-given service. Krishna, through his representatives, has kindly given me the opportunity to serve his mission in this way. If we think like this, then we can be steady and satisfied in service. Yeah, steady and satisfied, these two things go together. If one is not satisfied in devotional service, then he cannot remain steady in the service.
Yeah.
But devotees tend to be dissatisfied in a situation because of their mental approach towards it. They tend to think that, well, if I like doing the service, then it's okay. If I like to do it, then it's okay. Instead of thinking, what does Krishna want me to do, we think, what do I want to do for Krishna? That is the difference between a mixed devotee and a pure devotee. Pure devotee thinks only how to satisfy Krishna. And the consciousness of a mixed devotee is mixed with desires for personal sense enjoyment. Such desires, they bind us in this material world, and they actually make us miserable. The example is there of horses pulling us in different directions. We come across devotees with so many desires, which they try to dovetail in Krishna consciousness. But if our motive in doing action is primarily to satisfy ourselves, then it might be good, but it can't be satisfying. It cannot be counted as bhakti. At least not pure devotion. So one devotee was just telling me that another devotee who was actually a very good devotee had told him something. He was and is practicing Krishna consciousness very strictly. But he told him, I have some desire that I can't get out of my mind. I desire to have a very good sword, first-class sword, and a first-class horse, and I'll ride on the horse with my sword. So, the devotee who told me this said, you better just get a motorbike. Because a first-class horse costs a few $1 million. First-class sword maybe costs $25,000. You might be able to get that. But it's not realistic enough it's not very realistic to think that you can get a first-class horse. But on the whole, what's the point? It's difficult to see how it could be dovetailed in Krishna's service. Maybe if it was 5,000 years ago, you would have joined the battle of Kurukshetra. But in the modern age, if you ride around on a horse with a sword, you'll probably join the inmates of a prison. Desires are very dangerous. So this devotee, instead of concentrating on Krishna, if the desire comes again and again, I need a horse, I need a sword, I need a horse, I need a sword, I need a horse, I need a sword, then how can he remain fixed in Krishna consciousness? The mind will be unsteady. Due to the unsteady mind, we suffer. We feel others are oppressing us and suppressing us. I want this, but these people are the obstacles to my desire. There are even many cases of people who accept a guru and who later reject him. And they may give so many reasons, but actually the reason is because the guru was unwilling to be a conspirator in fulfilling their material desires. Conspirator means one who joins in a conspiracy. Mostly people think that if we can help others to fulfill their material desires, that is helping them. Nowadays in our Krishna consciousness movement, we hear a lot about compassion and good feeling. But according to materialistic people, good dealings or good feelings are expressed by helping other persons to indulge in sense gratification. Providing alcoholics with alcohol. Or the idea that you give children, the child is crying, give him whatever he wants. We don't know that this indulgence in the desire of the child will not help the child to grow as a good citizen. I know of a few people who were born in quite well-to-do families, and their parents indulge them. Whatever they want, okay, give it. And so the child grows up thinking that everyone should just do whatever I want. But the world isn't like that. So such a child grows up very arrogant, very demanding, and very dissatisfied. In the modern world, there's this idea that you're being kind to your children if you just give them whatever you want, whatever they want. They want a chocolate. They're crying for chocolates, give it. They whatever they want, just give. But without training children in discipline, self-control and austerity, they'll actually grow up being miserable. And they'll be stupid also. They cannot become well-educated, or they cannot develop their intelligence if their senses are always demanding something. That's why we don't see it in America, so many people coming up nowadays who are highly intelligent. Because the children have no training, no discipline. They're just indulge their senses. So much of America's brains the brains that keeps America running is imported. We never find children from a highly indulgent background growing up to be very intelligent. Because those who indulge the senses, their mind always remains unsteady. And the mind is always thinking, what next, what next, what next, what to enjoy. Just like you see, people are always titillating the tongue. Titillating means they're always taking snacks in between meals. I don't know about here, but in the Western world it's very common. And always some drink, tea, coffee, soft drink, cigarette, or in India they have pan, chewing gum. Always there should be some sensation for the tongue. So one who is not trained to control the senses must have an uncontrolled mind, disturbed mind. Now in America they're very concerned because so many people have disturbed minds. More than 70% of the people consult a psychiatrist during their lives. They're wondering why people have disturbed minds. They're so foolish, they don't see the whole culture is meant for disturbing people's minds. Constantly, billboards, buy this, buy that. Everywhere, TV, buy this, buy that. And the computer, you go on the internet and immediately, buy this, buy that. So they're deliberately disturbing people's minds in inserting material desires. And they're wondering why people are disturbed. Isn't this not foolishness? So Krishna consciousness means to withdraw our desires from sense gratification and to desire only Krishna. However, we're practically seeing it's not so easy to do that. Therefore, we have this system of sadhana, which gives us regulated activities to help the body, mind, and words in the service of Krishna. But still, we may find ourselves with so many desires, which disturb us to the extent that sometimes, like I was saying at the beginning of the class, even some people leave Krishna consciousness altogether. I was talking about family life. We often see that brahmacharis become more steady after entering Brahmashram. The brahmacharis, the family life. If they're unable to fix their mind on service to Krishna, the wife makes sure that they fix their mind on service to the wife and home. Women are often very practical. Yeah. Where's the money? So if a brahmachari is not able to come up to the highest platform immediately, then it may be better for him to take responsibility at an intermediate level. Although, as we were discussing yesterday, Prabhupada gave you could say a sarcastic simile for why nowadays people don't want to get married. That if milk is available in the market, then why bother to keep a cow? That one can have sex without marriage, so why bother? But this kind of attitude, that is not going to lift us up to Krishna consciousness. Everything should be done very responsibly. It is not that irresponsibility in material affairs is a qualification for Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we see someone dressed in very rough, torn, dirty cloth, and we think, oh, this must be tilak, and we think, oh, this must be a great saintly person. So it may be that a saintly person is so much absorbed in Krishna that he doesn't think to clean his clothes. Or it may just be that he's in Tamagun and is too lazy to wash it. His mind is so taken up by different desires that he can't even keep his clothes clean. So anyway, one way or the other, it's very important to become steady in Krishna consciousness. If one doesn't have a steady service, or if one is not steady in the mind, then how can we develop our relationship with Krishna? We are trying to revive our eternal relationship with Krishna. But if our mind is so disturbed that we're always thinking of this material circumstance or another material circumstance, then how will we fix the mind on Krishna? So although steadiness in material position is not synonymous with Krishna consciousness, it can indirectly help. We see some people are very steady in their habits, but they're a long, long way from Krishna. One devotee was telling me about his father, who lived in the same house all his life, went to work in the same place throughout his life. So he was certainly of steady consciousness in some ways, but he's not a devotee. So what's the use? On the other hand, if one is not steady in the mission of service, then, like I said, it's very difficult to be Krishna conscious. So everyone has to, first of all, one who is very advanced, they may be Krishna conscious in any circumstance. But those who are not, which means almost everybody, unless they're on a very high level of surrender, then it's better they find some situation in which they can serve and stick with that. Unless they find a situation in which they can peacefully serve, they should find that and stick with it. There may be a case for changing one's situation if one sees some major discrepancy being carried out and one cannot rectify. But generally, we should remain satisfied in the situation that Krishna has placed us in. That Krishna discusses in this chapter also. One should be satisfied with whatever comes without having to make any great endeavor. So much unnecessary endeavor is taken up in this world by persons who think that they need more than they presently have. Now again, we're speaking on the material platform here. But we see many people in previous generations, they were satisfied if they had a little food, clothing, shelter, they would more or less be sent. But nowadays they're advertising that you have to have a car and a fridge and a washing machine and so many different things. So if someone doesn't have these things, then their mind becomes disturbed. And if we do have these things, we may want to show off to others who don't have them. And if we don't get them, we'll remain always frustrated. So how to remain steady, satisfied, peaceful in devotional service? This is a major discussion which requires each individual to analyze themselves. We should look at all our material desires and see what is the sum total value of them all. Actually, the value is 0 or less. And if we consider what is the value of Krishna consciousness, then we will always be inspired by the ideal that I have to aspire for the spiritual world to serve Krishna there. So how enthusiastic we should be to go to the spiritual world, and how apathetic we should be towards the material world. In this way we can remain steady. Fixed, one-pointed. The lamp of a candle in a windless place burns very nicely. It is not in danger of going out at any time. And it just burns up straight. So this example is given. Our Krishna consciousness should be like that. Straightforward Krishna consciousness. No special frills or fancies. No special frills or fancies. I don't know how to say. No different diversions or exciting sounding things to add in. We already have the most special thing, which is the opportunity to serve Krishna. That is the dharma of the jiva, to serve Krishna. If we could only understand the value of the gift we've been given of Krishna consciousness, and in that situation we should apply ourselves fully to Krishna. Hare Krishna. Is there any question about this?
If we shouldn't allow a child to indulge in sense gratification, how can we develop his creative inclinations or abilities, and how can we understand that these are demands of the soul and these are demands of the mind? It's regarding child.
When we say we shouldn't indulge in child in sense gratification, that doesn't mean that we should lock him up, tie his hands, put a tape on his mouth. Not like that. Doesn't mean that we should just feed gruel or only grishka with no salt or sugar. Balance is also required. And this is an excellent way to dovetail their desires, to engage them, for instance, in Krishna conscious activities.
Which is the
Kirtan, drama, Krishna games, but train them from the beginning to make them everything Krishna-centered. The child is crying, I want an ice cream. So he may think that we're being very kind to the child to give it that. But simply doing what he wants to do will not help him to develop in Krishna consciousness. What everyone really wants to do is to serve Krishna. So let them be satisfied in service to Krishna. Yeah?
You sure?
Anything else? Alright then, we'll finish there. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad-gita.